Welcome to Ellie Goldsmith's Relationship Flow. Again, we have this special guest of Teeny Pops, aka Wifey, aka Masha Goldschmidt, aka Martine Sauber, and we're very excited to continue after a very popular and well-received intro. My soulmate is here. Say hello.
Hi.
And it's a very special weekend. It's Parshas Nachamu, and also not only Shabbat Nachamu or Shabbos Nachamu, but it's also TuBAv. What happened on TuBAv?
We got engaged.
Yes, we did. We got engaged right by the walls of the old city, and then we celebrated that Shabbos Nachamu together in Tailstone. And my wife was bat bias. She was staying there. Anyway, but the point was, let's get into what we're going to discuss today, emotional stamina. This is a title that my wifey thought of, and I think it's something which is very relevant for our generation, because a lot of people right now, especially in 2020, 2021, with everything that's gone on, people are talking a lot about being burnt out, not having the ability to go ahead, feeling very confused, all this kind of stuff. So emotional stamina is actually something that we can all work on in an active way. Let's hear from Wifey what she thinks emotional stamina is, and then we'll discuss it more.
So not going to necessarily give a definition of emotional stamina, but I will say what, like my own personal experience, how it affects me. Anyway, so you went away now for a few days, and it was literally last minute. An hour before you had to go to the airport, you were like, I have to go now.
Yeah,
last
Corona.
And
to avoid all the quarantine.
Anyway, so that was also like for me suddenly. I'm like, okay, I got to suddenly be prepared. I'm going to drive you to the airport. You're going to go. It's not. I wasn't expecting it, so that's already using some emotional reserves of, okay, my husband's not going away for a few days, and I do get separation anxiety. I'm much better.
And also with all the rules, we didn't know it was all going to go smooth.
And I was really scared, like, what if he couldn't come back? I mean, there shouldn't have been a reason, but, one does get scared. Anyway, so the point is, so he went for a few days, and I knew he's going to go from this day to that day. I had my emotional stamina. I knew how to pace myself, basically, for those few days, emotionally within myself, with the kids, with, general life and all that. Anyway, so then I picked him up from the airport and, tried to not be overly emotional and needy and just be support. I
mean, it was amazing because you came early in the morning.
I woke up at 3 in the morning. It
was an all-night flight at 3-4 in the morning. I'm there already.
Got back at 4.
4:30 out the airport. 4:15.
Right. Anyway, and it was also,
Thank God it went. I got through no problem.
And anyway, so then we come back, and he thinks he's going to have to be home the whole day because he has to wait for the corona results. And we thought that we'd only get them back tonight. Anyway, he gets them back much like the beginning of the day.
So
that
I can still
he's fine.
get to work. Still record
it's fine.
My
Wait, so he could. So then suddenly also I was expecting he's going to be home for the day, at least until tonight, and then tomorrow will be a new day. And then all suddenly he got his corona results, and they were fine, and so he could go to work. Understandable, that's normal. He needs to go to work, finish off the week. He was away, totally understandable. But then once again, my stamina, I paced myself for a certain thing. Suddenly he had to go, and then suddenly my whole emotional level and energy dropped, and I felt suddenly overwhelmed. I felt totally emotional. I felt like I wanted to cry, and then I wanted to get angry with him, and I wanted to tell him that you're so you know, you're not there for me, and you're just leaving me, and you're all the different things that you want to say.
Even though you did so well this week, like not normally well.
And then suddenly, suddenly, like everything is just so hard, and my whole life, and then the kids, and you know, you start suddenly,
during
you
holiday
start with,
for the kids.
Yeah, it's like I'm so tired and I burnt out already, and you know, everything.
Whole week of giving
like,
to the kids.
Everything comes up, which isn't. It's like all totally amplified. It's not even like in balance. And then I stopped and I didn't say any of this stuff to myself. I said, okay, you know, you go. But I felt myself feeling this, and I felt myself wanting to say all these things to them. And then I said to myself, hold on a minute, like, I know what's just happened. I paced myself. I had my emotional stamina for a certain amount of time. So once again, and because I had, you know, used up a lot of energy, I didn't have much reserves left for today to then, you know, I didn't have much reserves left. And so then I realized, hold on, so it's okay what I'm feeling. It's okay. He hasn't done anything wrong. It's okay. I'm feeling, it's just, I just need a little bit of reach. I just need to basically reach, like what Ellie says, what Stephen Covey says about
well, he says it a bit more
intellectually.
intellectually.
Well, it's different. He's talking about investing in your emotional bank account. But anyway, so basically
But it is a similar...
So what I feel is
But you have to understand it is a man way of experiencing
and that's
things.
what I'm just saying that for me, I'm talking about
like
my person.
people nowadays don't want to generalize man and woman, but in our Relationship Flow podcast, we see clear differences. As the Torah itself says, that there are two different nations. It actually says, so like, you know, the idea of speaking softly to a woman and then
but what I'm
more
speaking
strongly
about is
to
from
a man.
a woman's
Same
side
with
of
emotions.
things.
Like men experience emotions even intellectually, because the way I'm thinking about it is like, what's gonna intellectually, how am I going to achieve the best investment? If I'm rude to my wife or criticize my wife or become reactive if she's upset emotionally, then it's just going to get worse. And even if I do it initially, I have to catch myself because I've been down that path enough times.
Like, I know if I would start with saying to him,
being defensive,
getting all upset,
and instead
and then he'll get defensive. Instead, we both
go on our own self-knowledge of what we're going through, being more self-aware. And
that's basically the idea, being self-aware of, like, not blaming.
Where we're not
blaming
at that moment. It's not the fault of anyone else, including our spouse or soulmate. It's something that we're now in an opportunity to either help each other or not. Sometimes, like the way Tony Robbins and Sage always talk about it, is you have to change the dynamic. So we went out.
Well, basically, I realized
change
that
the flow.
I needed. We
pause there. And this is not the time now to deal with that emotional issue.
Look, usually we have like every night is our chill time together at the end of the day, and you know we do and
with the Corona thing, it's been even more focused and for him because we've had more time of chill time. It's not like I had every night parties and bar mitzvahs and weddings, and now these days the nights are more concerts. Even though Nissim right now is doing concerts tonight, but I'm not there. We have a manager there, so you know things aren't as. I haven't been travelling for a long time.
Also because you travelled and it was a very quick, short. We didn't have time to talk on the phone, and then I realized that why am I feeling what emotional stamina is that I needed to have that connection with you, and that's once again going back to like what we spoke about last week, which is it's not this, it's a different topic, but it's the same thing, and I'm still trying to think of the word of
assessing.
I don't know. It's not that I've still got to work it out, but of just
reinvigorate.
I don't know what it is, but it's like once again coming to. It's like a coming together, coming together, and so it's not like
gathering yourself, because in the end, a person needs to have the energy to be able to cope with all the challenges that are coming up, and you have to have the right mindset.
And we need to. It's very important for husband and wife to have that emotional connection with each other.
Because we need to.
And life gets busy, and we need to have that time, and we usually make sure that
tonight,
we do that.
It's nice. We were meant to go all the way to Herzliya to see people who we did really want to see, but there was so much traffic on the way.
We got stuck in traffic, so we
and then we're just pulled off to the nearest mall. We're sitting there right now. And got a nice coffee.
And it's a mall that we've never been to, so you kind of feel like we're on holiday.
And there's a TuBAv, a little heart in front of us, reminding us it's a festive time coming up this weekend. And it's just nice, just to touch base. And, and there's a lot of blessings in our life to be thankful. And the trip was amazingly smooth and amazingly positive, even though there were some initial challenges. And we just have to really appreciate all the good.
If anybody can think of the possible word,
we want feedback, definitely.
I think it starts with
and collaboration.
But basically, it's like every so often, like what I said last week was, you know, when you reassess or evaluate. I can't remember what word I used last week. Where you know, you have to constantly be true to yourself and work out, you know, what you're feeling and what you need and you know. But it's not like you. It's like black and white. Like as I said, like. Life throws things. You can go into here.
Yeah, I just want to go in a different direction. I just want to ask you, like, what do you think helped us since it's TuBAv and we got engaged? And it was special, you know. I was sitting by the old city underneath beautiful trees with beautiful weather, and I gave you a little present. What was it, like a bracelet?
Yeah, bracelet.
And we'd done our test that, you know, we were compatible in terms of physically
the
Tay-Sachs, and you know, and you said okay or yes, whatever it was, and I gave you a nice card. But what do you think it was that gave us that clarity? Because not everyone nowadays...
but we've known each other since we were
and then even to then go
young.
through a few hard months of before the wedding and, you know, all the different struggles a bride and groom go through leading up to a wedding.
I think because we're both quite deep people, we
knew we had that soul connection.
We had we just...
So that connects into my United Souls focus that I'm busy with. I'm talking about it a lot in the Moona podcast.
When we first met each other,
and the other
when we were
Unity
teenagers,
Flow.
we said that we felt like we knew each other from a past life.
Yeah. There was
like when we first met.
A deep recognition of each other from a different world.
Like we knew each other.
And we weren't religious, or we didn't know about Torah that much, very minimal knowledge of spirituality, but we knew in a deep way that there was massive soul connection, and we didn't need to manifest it in those days where it would have been before marriage. We didn't manifest it physically. We just felt very close as friends, you know, if that could be such a thing.
Yeah, it was interesting. It was like a different kind of friendship.
Yeah.
It wasn't like regular friends.
Else.
It wasn't like...
I always tell my wife that as many girls as I knew back then, not being religious and being out there, you know, as a bit of a player, as soon as I started connecting with her, I got rid of all the girls' numbers except for hers, and I just wasn't interested in anyone really. Even at university, when I was there and there were things going on, I just stayed away from them. So it's amazing. You were like always the one, even though we didn't act on it physically, but just.
But what we're saying now
emotionally.
is like we had to really work to get to these points of
self-awareness
and understand the self, and also it's not even just
relationship awareness.
I always thought I was self-aware, but it's like. But when you can be self-aware by yourself, but when you're in a relationship with someone, being self-aware that when they trigger, they could do something.
They're not even triggering you; they're just being them.
Being them.
And life can get challenging. You don't get that.
Life happens, and then that can trigger something within you, or it can arouse an emotion or something.
Or energy-wise, you could just be low,
and it's okay. And
sometimes
it's totally okay.
You just want the other person to just
pick you up, and sometimes they can't because they're not. They're
also having their challenges,
and they're busy, and they have to go to work, and they.
I mean, there's a whole system Brene Brown has, like a percentage where they're holding that day.
But that's why
levels
we know. But that's why when we know, we have to make sure we have our connection time.
Yeah.
Because that kind of glues us.
I also find with energy, like if we are souls, then there's an infinite energy level, but the problem is getting it to our emotional level. So there's somehow link it up.
Floaty-boaty.
No, but there is a way to link up. That's one of my missions, to link up the soul level to all the levels of existence of our daily life and our emotional life.
What happens
to heal everything and empower everything and energize everything.
Then you could take it for granted. Okay, we have an infinite soul connection, so
I'll
therefore
tell you something deep. We'll end off on this idea, because it says when Mashiach comes, which is coming any day, and TuBAv is a special day that could help bring that about, that B'yomahu yiyeh Hashem echad u'shmo echad, that yiyeh, in those days it will be, Hashem's name will be one. The idea the emotional levels will be elevated to the same clarity that intellectual levels people have. So you won't actually be pulled down by your emotions. There won't be this sadness and this energy gap. Like you'll feel constantly empowered and energized, just like a person intellectually can constantly think of new ideas and the mind's always racing. So to an emotional level, there'll be a constant elevated experience of emotions. It'll be a very high level, where the level of intellect is. So there is that future promise that your emotions you won't have this like space pulling you down into the darker places.
I think the word is regroup.
Yeah, regroup's a good one.
I think that was the word, regroup. Yeah, that's it. We have to every so often regroup in work, in relationships.
But do you hear what I'm saying? But to know that in the future there will be that.
Okay, but right now we're dealing with now.
Now, but to know that there is this place inside of us even now that is eternal and that has that.
Okay, so that's what I always say. What gives me energy, you know?
Yeah, because you do in the end always
Hashem
dig deep.
breathed life into us, and that. So it's like we've got that spark of Hashem inside of us.
A lot of the time you don't even have the
fuel.
emotional energy and you still do it. So how do you do that?
You tap into that.
Okay, so that's the proof.
Godly spark inside yourself, and it gives
there's
you
something
fuel.
beyond even the emotions
The
that can
fuel.
empower the emotions and lift up the emotions.
Anyway, let's finish off by saying the word is regroup. I finally thought of realized it. And that's what we're doing right now by speaking together. We just
getting some
sitting
emotional
there, having
stamina.
a drink at a mall. We're regrouping. After he's been away for a few days, we're regrouping.
Great.
And that's the word, and that's what you need to do.
And then
with
one day,
you have to regroup with yourself, regroup with your partner.
Our regrouping will be so
at work.
spiritual that you won't even have to be so emotional.
Yes, I thought of the word, but
well
I've thought of the word. I'm so excited.
But I'm still excited about the spiritual reality.
You're
excited about the emotional reality.
I'm very spiritual, but that's where
But that's the bridge. That's the bridge.
Exactly.
We need both. You can't be flying in the clouds, but you can't be overly down here and getting all caught up with how you're feeling. Because as Gedalia always says, you can't live your life based on your feelings. You've got to have a better strategy.
Right, but you also can't. Okay, well, this will be another topic.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Okay, coming attractions. Join us again another week for the Relationship Flow with Ellie Goldsmith and Masha Goldsmith. And we're looking forward to have a beautiful Shabbos together and hearing lots of good news from everybody with their simchas and their engagements and their good times. And we can't wait to share more Relationship Flow podcasts. You share yours. Please check out the description for a summary and for the opportunity to be in contact.